that the stuff that you're talking about in terms of like, well, in the real world, we know better and this is what it's like. So what specific things would you say or activities would you simulate to help overcome that? Because that is a barrier that's quite common across industries, where people are like, and it's an adult learning principle, like respect what people already know, relate it to their world. So what kind of specific things do you do or say to overcome so that there's no resistance between the learner and what they're learning?
Yes. So what we usually try to do is, we all are very honest about it. We're just like, you can't, if you lined up 5 or 10 different providers, doctors, nurses, whatever, everybody's going to have a little bit different way of doing things. And we understand that. So what we try to do is teach them kind of a standardized way to do things, but we're usually very honest with people. And so, for example, I teach a lot of sessions where we teach nurse practitioners how to take a history on a patient from the stance of like a provider instead of a nurse, because you need to get different information because now you're the one responsible for getting the diagnosis. And so when we're doing that session, it's like, okay, so I want you to start with this question, what brought you in today? Tell me about your symptoms. Are you having any other symptoms? And so what that helps them do is start generating a list of like potential diagnosis they could have, and that helps them come up with the next questions, right? And so when we're doing that, and then we get to the parts about treatments, we always tell them, we understand that there may be 5 different ways to treat this, but maybe today we're just going to talk about this is the way this could be done. We want you to stick to this way while you're here. We want to standardize this training. And then when they actually get into the real world environment, they will start to see those variations of how different people approach it. Because sometimes it depends on what hospital you work at. They have particular ways that they will treat some illnesses. For example, like working in the emergency room, certain things have to be treated a certain way. Chest pains are treated a certain ways. If you think people have pneumonia, you have to do certain things in certain periods of time. The way that you dress just an IV in somebody's arm is different, but depending on the institution. So if I'm teaching somebody that, I'm like, this is a way to do this. It's not the only way. We understand that. So we try to have a very real conversation. And most of the time, if you're getting people who've been nurses for years, they have plenty of stories. They have plenty of context for being in that environment. And they understand that what we're telling you is not 100% the only way to do things, kind of like life. It is a way to do it. This is kind of a system to do it. So when I teach that, I say, there's more than one way to take a history. There's more than one way to diagnose. This is the way I'm going to tell you, just so I can help you understand the process for doing it, right? Yeah. And usually, even if they don't prescriptively take what I show them into their real world where they're going to do that on real patients, at least they will understand the process of how you start with what is it that this person has a complaint. How do you systematically work through going through all the different diagnoses they could have? How do you strategically start to check those off and figure out which one they have? So we're just teaching them basically processes to do that.
Yeah.
So we're giving them a tool, a process, a technique. A lot of times we're sharing maybe some resources for them to use.